Financial advice, and I'm here with the one and only Topachi, CEO, co-founder of HSUITE. Now, this is a suite of platform. Honestly, I've never seen any tech like this ever before in my life. So, how's it going, Topachi?
Hi, thanks for having me to your podcast. Well, it's doing great. I've been doing great. Just super busy as always, working non-stop basically every day and keeping building.
Uh, um, Probably one of the best answers a creator, project manager, or CEO can tell an investor is that just building and building. Honestly, it's music to any investor's ears, and that's what I've been seeing. So I have to fully disclose to anyone listening. I have a big bag of HBAR suites. I do have invested interest in this because I have never seen a tech like this, and honestly, yeah, the HBAR Foundation is gonna cry. So okay, so I have some questions, but first, I don't know. Can you give us a quick 2, 3, 4, 5 minute, information about yourself? Give us a little background so people can understand. Now, I am trying to, expand outside of the HEDERA ecosystem as much as possible. I'm not just staying inside the HEDERA. So for people that are just listening, and I was in a space yesterday with some Solana and Ethereum maxis, and I warned them that um, I was going to interview the CEO of the HBAR Suite, which is a tech looking to replace smart contracts for smart nodes. They were excited and they're looking forward to this interview. So for them, can you give us a little background of yourself?
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, by the way, that you had those pitches with other blockchain maximalists out there. But
Thank you.
yeah, what I can say regarding HBAR Suite, that it's basically a suite of DeFi services that's been built on top of the HEDERA network. And we usually like to say they were like a layer 1.5, which is not like a layer 1 because HEDERA is layer 1, and not exactly layer 2 because we heavily rely on HEDERA network. And so the layer 1.5 concept is basically the AppNet vision, the application network vision that Dr. Limon Baird always had. Limon Baird is, for those who don't know, is the inventor of the hashgraph consensus algorithm. And back in like 2016, 2017, even before HBAR token was live in the market, he would be speaking a lot about how with the hashgraph consensus algorithm, which is not exactly a blockchain, could enhance security, scalabilities, and functionality in terms of like Web3 applications without the need of smart contracts. And this was possible through the creation of the many features such as the HEDERA consensus service, the token service, and the file service. But for like quite some time, even if the HEDERA hashgraph was out in the market and developers could have built things, there was not really much going on at some point, you know. And there was a point until when me and Tomac Anura, who was the CTO and co-founder of HBAR Suite, 2.5 years. So we coming from like a development computer science environment, as well as, you know, classic ERC20 smart contract environment and classic crypto development, so to speak, we really were amazed on the technology that Dr. Limon Baird was speaking about, you know, and we were really ecstatic of this concept. And at some point where smart contracts were not even available on HEDERA, we basically decided to build this AppNet vision that he had, and HBAR Suite has created this AppNet vision with the name of Smart Nodes. And Smart Nodes basically aim to create a standardized version for application networks that are based on HEDERA for developers to build on top. But it's really cool because the Smart Node technology can also be utilized across potentially infinite use cases, cross-chain with other blockchain, off-chain, and on-chain, of course, and we can dive deeper into that a little bit later.
Nice. Nice. Well, Topachi, everyone. This is a great Topachi. So now he is on docks for anyone wondering. Um,
Well,
so
just a little something that I want to say regarding this. We are undoxed only on the community side. On the enterprise side of things, which we have HBAR Suite Enterprise, where we have partnerships with different institutions, from financial institution to IT companies, we're actually doxed as founders. So they know our faces, they know our identities on paper. We just rather to on the public community side of things to not be fully revealed, so to speak, but we're actually doxed.
yep, I remember there was a picture you took with Lehman Baird, and your face was there. It was just kind of blurred out on the eye. So he's doxed in the enterprise side, everyone. So just so everyone understands that. Thank you for clearing that up, just in case I missed it. So I got some questions because so everyone, you all need to understand this. Smart contracts, there has been so many exploits in smart contracts, exploits and hacks, or however you want to refer to them. So there are very vulnerable sides of smart contracts. This is why, as human beings, we always look to innovate and enhance any kind of tech. There hasn't been any type of innovation or enhancement in the smart contract side. Now, H Suite isn't just innovating that side, but this is just one that I will touch on just so everyone understands. So, smart nodes. I do think that'll replace smart contracts sooner than people understand and believe. So, smart nodes, if you can just give us a quick 30 seconds of smart contract. I know I've already did a video, my previous one, watching your exact video comparing smart nodes to smart contracts on my YouTube channel. So I don't know if can you give us a quick, and then I'm going to ask you some questions about them.
Yeah, well, the main differences that we can speak about regarding smart nodes and smart contracts, there are quite a few. For example, like the memory limit, where on HEDERA, for example, smart contracts are 10 megabytes memory limit, while with the smart nodes, you have no memory limit whatsoever. Scalability issue, because smart contracts run on 200-300 transactions per second on HEDERA, while with the smart nodes, you can run on HEDERA native speeds, which are right now about 10,000 transactions per second. Then you have transparency, in where, like, when you're executing a transaction in a hashback wallet, for example, with the smart nodes, what you see, what you get. Meanwhile, with the smart contracts, it's said that you're executing a smart contract, but at least as of now, you're not really seeing what's going to happen with the execution of the contract. And actually, recently, on Hashcan, which is the HEDERA Chain Explorer, they recently added the possibility to read the code of the smart contracts, which is a great addition. And they're slowly catching up on certain things to make smart contracts, like at least on HEDERA, easier to be verified for. But at the same time, there's still a lot of things that can be done, and they may have in regards of security issues, and especially scalability, and as well as maintenance limits, because with the smart nodes you can integrate the smart node language, which is like TypeScript, let's say JavaScript, and you can have the same language for the backend server, which and can also be the same for the front-end application. So you can have a unified language for a whole application, and this also like makes cost of development cheaper, and potentially cheaper, and easier maintenance, where you can have one developer, if it's a full stack developer, can jump back and forth to fix like things around. While with the smart contract, you have like Solidity, for example, and you have like JavaScript, and then you have Python, so kind of have more disruption around, so to speak, and it's not as unified. This is like just a generical high level view that I can give you like really quick, and then we can dive deep later.
Okay, got it. So it's more secured, faster, scalable. Yeah, I like it. And
Yeah, I mean, about the security aspect, like smart contracts can usually be very secure, but the fact is that setting aside the scalability issue, is that some, especially for enterprise or big conglomerates, they may need the use of Web3, even a public network, but at the same time, they have some complex logic that should not be available to the public to read for security reasons. With smart contracts, you cannot do that because smart contracts tend to be completely public and open source, which in one way is a good thing. But for big institutions, it's not always a good thing, because even if you pass a smart contract audit, maybe the auditor did not see something, because in computer science, there is no such thing as 100% secure. You can be up to 99.99% secure, but there is always a chance like of an exploit at some point where there is a hacker that could figure something out, and
correct.
And this goes. And with the smart nodes, you have the ability to have a hybrid model where parts of the code can be closed source, but at the same time, it's okay because you will have parts of the validations, parts of the smart node validators that can be verified publicly on chain without disclosing exactly how an application works. So it cannot really be hacked. And there is also other security measures like multi-sig of multi-sig as well that we can talk about.
Wow. Okay. All right. So about smart nodes. Now I do remember I've been keeping track and keeping up with a lot of you guys' tweets, by the way, for ever since I heard about you guys for years. I remember one tweet. I think HBAR Row or Captain Sergeant mentioned. He says that there's only enough HBAR suite to have 5,000 smart nodes running. And then when I did the math, that's not a lot. So I had to get some of my bags. So my question is, say the entire crypto universe begins to switch, and the Ethereum projects and the Solana projects, they begin to switch to try smart nodes. Would 5,000 be enough to handle such scale of transactions and people using? Will 5,000 be enough?
Okay, so if we are speaking in regards of HBAR Suite ecosystem, where primarily HSUITE has utility tokens, so assuming that the smart nodes run only on HSUITE, where you have to have 10 million HSUITE, it's totally okay, because it's not really about the number of nodes, but more so the amount of power that you give the node availability to. Because let's say we max out on 5,000 nodes, right? What you can just do is create like a method like proxy staking, for example, where somebody can like just not run a whole node. If that was ever the case, it's like an extreme case example that I'm doing. So if you cap out to 5,000 nodes, then you can have like a sort of a proxy node or like a sort of fractionalized version of it, where you can just stake to one of those nodes, to contribute to the security of the network. And also at the same time, those node runners, as long as they can provide more computing power, which you can provide as much computing power as you need or you wish, to make sure that everything scales as fast as HEDERA can scale. So the primary difference will be that maybe like if it costs you like first $50-$20 a month to run a smart node, if everybody jumps in, it might cost you like to increase the computing power of the smart nodes, it might cost you like 200, 2,000. But at the same time, if your cost increases that much, the token value converts at the same time. You will have to see a token appreciation as well, or else it wouldn't be convenient for you to run a node in that case. So it would be all a proportional scaling environment in this case.
Got it. So one, it can handle it, and two, it'll cost more, but it'll appreciate the HSUITE's token value the more that people adopt it. That's what you're saying, right?
Most definitely, because HSUITE is a gas fee for the smart nodes, basically.
Dang. Okay, well, I'll hang on to my 10 million because don't want to fumble those bags. And again, Walmart or Target, if you're watching this video, I'm gonna be running my own smart node, and you're welcome to use it. You don't have to disclose. You can remain anonymous and use my smart nodes. Okay. I know eventually we'll I think we're gonna get to enterprises using this really soon. I remember you guys last year you were opening up and marketing to enterprises, which got me super hyped up. So okay, so 5,000 is more than enough, and the cost will go up because of the scalability and the flow of traffic and transactions that will go through the smart nodes. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, those numbers can really be, they don't really have to be fixed. Like, there is a lot of things that could happen since we're like, as well, we also are a DAO, so there are a lot of things that can take place into changes in the future. If there is any particular urgency or need in order to foster a healthy long-term growth, there is always like relatively quite many modifications or updates that could eventually be done in order to stay in line with progressive growth in this case. But yeah, overall, with examples that we did before, yeah, I mean, the smart nodes basically also allow to compute complex programming logic and execute it on HEDERA without loading up HEDERA. So we're basically a lot of the stuff that smart nodes executes, it's basically off chain, so to speak, and that's where the smart node comes in, and the node runner, where you need that external computing power like your PC or a Google Cloud server that uses that computing power to execute some logic and then gets validated into the HEDERA network. And we're gonna keep the HEDERA network. We don't overload it like smart contracts could do in this case. You see what I mean?
So sorry if I'm asking a dumb question. So AI could also get integrated into this?
Yeah, literally anything. You could use smart nodes to have a decentralized AI system so that it can be validated through all the data sets of storage and not have a single point of failure.
Holy crap.
Yeah, anything could be done with it.
Gotta tell Da Vinci. Dang. Okay. This is super cool knowledge. Thank you. So,
Yep.
all right. Now, jump into the next topic. Now, the more I inspect uh, decentralized exchanges, the cooler I think HSUITE is. Okay, so you guys have your own centralized exchange. So you're basically like a HeliSwap, SuSwap, and you guys have zero slippage. Everyone, they have zero slippage. So how does the zero slippage work? And then I'll jump into the cross-chain questions.
Yeah, so the way that zero slippage, what we call smart rebalance market maker, was born was the fact that we did not, when we were developing the exchange, the decentralized exchange, we did not really want to use allowances, token allowances, which is what every other DEX does. And how allowance works is that, like, before executing a transaction, usually you have to give permission to the smart contract in this case, or whatever entity is.
Okay.
Give permission to take some tokens out of your wallet. And we always saw that as a potential security issue that could be
Yes.
represented by even a malicious actor, or even just a person that may have a bug on that they don't even know it, a developer, and there could be like a bad exploit, and you find yourself with something that you did not expect as a ending. So what we did was we saw that HEDERA would allow you to perform atomic transaction, which means that in one single transaction you can exchange one token for another. But we had this issue of the usual slippage, right? what it's normal in the centralized exchange, that usually I give you $1, you expect €1, but then you might receive a little more or a little less, and that's like slippage, if there is like concurrency transactions happening and at the same time. But we actually managed to resolve this issue of concurrent transactions by using atomic transactions with what we call the smart rebalance market maker. And how it basically works, I'll try to explain it, and it's a very complex algorithm. Like, I cannot really explain a lot of it, but basically what happens is that the smart rebalance market maker, to work in zero slippage way, it's allowed to have, let's say you have a 50-50 pull ratio, right? So with the smart rebalance, the pool can oscillate a little bit between like being like, let's say 49.5 and 50.5%. So the ratios of token A, token B are slightly variable. And with this variability, what happens? The price adjusts itself in order so that all the following trades will rebalance the pool. So long story short, what happens? That there may be some concurrent transactions that may create a little imbalance in the pool, right? And so the smart rebalance market maker, what it simply does is continuously, perpetually adjust prices so that it keeps the ratio in a certain manner, adjusted prices and quantity and volume, and so that it keeps a constant perpetual balance. And usually what I say to people to kind of understand it visually is like, imagine like this old school scale where you put the weights on one way and the weights on another, and it kind of goes up and down until you put both weights on the same, on both sides of the scale. Those scales, like old school ones, where they just move up and down.
Right.
And so that's what the smart rebalance market maker does. It constantly, forever looks for like a perfect balance ratio, and it keeps working the way. So it's like always slightly moving, but it works phenomenally.
Dang. Okay. Wow. Okay. And cool tech. That's really cool.
Thanks.
So that is really fantastic, man. So, okay. So zero slippage, I had questions about that, how it worked. Okay, thank you so much for explaining. So there's like a cool tech genie always working to balance out volumes versus the slippage differences in order to give a more accurate transaction to push through, and it's working faster and a lot more frequent than any other, correct? That's what you're basically saying?
Yes, and of course it has checks where we have a queuing system where, like, if there is too big of a trades that may unbalance the pool more than a certain percentage, then it would not execute those trades. So it also have there is an oracle alongside the smart rebalance market maker, which is like intrinsic.
Okay. The freak does that mean? But thank you. That sounds cool. Sounds really cool. Okay, but I understand the idea of it. Okay, I understand the idea. So you have a decentralized exchange and you have a cross-chain exchange. So you're basically a salsa swap or heli swap and a pendulum in one, just in your suite. So cross-chain, I was looking at the list. You have just about every popular chain from Ethereum all the way down. I believe you have Solana, Cardano, even Casper or something, right?
We have quite a few different tokens, and the same tokens for different chains as well. And we also have more coming up in the list that we are going to list. But we integrated a third-party API, third-party business into our smart nodes in order to provide the HEDERA ecosystem, or anybody who wishes to use it, the possibility to switch from one token of a blockchain to the token of another blockchain.
So this is my question. So say a token wants to get listed on your DEX and become accessible to MetaMask or the Ethereum Uniswap. Can they buy that token? Let's say they do. Can they buy that token and they integrate themselves in your cross chain? Okay, token A. So token A is now in your HSUITE DEX. What needs to happen for them to become accessible to Uniswap in your cross-chain DEX or exchange?
Well, depends. Primarily depends on first what type of token that is, and I mean by that is like, is it if it's an HDS token or if it's a ERC20 token. And secondly, it would depend from our third-party API, like if there is a request done for that particular token to be listed, and then from there, like they could potentially get listed for the cross-chain exchange. But we also thought something thought about that. Depends on the side of the token, if it's on HEDERA native or if it's on ERC20. There could be a mechanism like from the cross chain. Let's say you have Ethereum and you could technically just select that you want to buy HSUITE, let's say, straight to the cross chain exchange. And how it will work is that basically you would send Ethereum, and the smart nodes receive the HBAR, and then the HBAR gets swapped to HSUITE, and you would just receive HSUITE in your wallet. But that's like a wrapped functionality that could be implemented additionally to like facilitate certain cross-chain flows. It may be something that you may be seeing in the future, but it's not on top list priorities just yet.
Got it. So you'll be basically hash port.
Smart nodes can also be used for that. For porting talk from, for sure. For like, there is ways that where you can have tokens locked from one chain and minted an equivalent to the other side, and then like you can redeem it. But it's a very interesting topic where we can discuss a lot about it.
That's really cool. So smart nodes can ultimately also become a bridge between chains. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because smart nodes are able to listen to events from smart contracts of other chains. And we can make smart contracts from different chains interact with each other. What I mean by that is like that the smart nodes can be the bridge that can call and listen to smart contracts of different blockchain. Because usually smart contracts by themselves, they cannot talk with the outside world of which they belong. So HEDERA, like a Ethereum smart contract, cannot interact outside of Ethereum blockchain and so on. They have this is what they call the oracle problem. So usually smart contracts rely on a backend, like a backend server, which is more often than not a centralized server. And smart nodes can be decentralized backend server and also oracle for smart contracts.
Holy crap. Have you heard of Cosmos or Atom?
By name, but I did not.
They're inventing a blockchain bridge tech, trying to link up different ecosystems. So I was looking into them. This is before I came in into HEDERA, and honestly, your tech sounds, one, a lot more simple, two, a lot more powerful, and scalable and secured than Cosmos. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. If you're from Cosmos and you're watching this, I'm not just trying to pump my bags. I'm very practical when I invest, just so you all know. It needs to make sense. And I didn't know that smart nodes can run in other ecosystems and bridge them. So you're basically not just a multi-chain DEX or single DEX, multi-chain DEX. You're also a hash port.
Potentially, yes. We could be, yeah.
Well, this is amazing, man. I just learned something new today. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is this question comes, this is more for the marketing side. So I was reading up your, and reading through the roadmap, and what my question is, are you guys marketing for people to come to HSUITE, or are you planning to get listed or list HSUITE tokens in Uniswap so people can get a taste of it for them to come and join? What's the marketing plan? Then come to you, or you come to them, or going to enterprises first? If you're allowed to disclose?
I mean, in regards to marketing, primarily right now we are targeting at least to the bare minimum the their ecosystem, people that are already familiar with this environment, as well as on enterprise side of things, many different types of businesses like financial institutions, IT companies, really like any type of business that could potentially use this type of technology. And for the real marketing to come, we are waiting to release the version 2 of the smart nodes, because our main goal with the version 2 of the smart nodes, primarily in regards to marketing side of things, will be to onboard as many developers as possible. And the funny part is that we're building the smart nodes so that developers that come from a non-crypto world will be able to just jump in the crypto world. So if you see like HEDERA right now has been building like crazy smart contracts, trying to attract all the Solidity developers from like Ethereum and other chains, right? And what we did instead is build the smart nodes technology with based in JavaScript, which is like one of the most absolutely popular programming language in the world of web development. And if I can give you some rough numbers in comparison, you have 95% JavaScript developers and 5% and probably way less of smart contract developers. So what we're gonna do is anybody who comes from JavaScript and web development that maybe doesn't really have idea on how smart contracts work, Solidity and stuff, we are going to make it as simple as possible for them to just jump into the Web3 space and start developing Web3 application in a really simple manner with the Smart Node SDK that will be released. And the apps that will be built by those developers are called Smart Apps.
Let me write this down, man. Smart dApps. So you're coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So smart nodes, smart dApps. Any other smart terms I need to be aware about?
Not right now, I think. I'll let you know though.
Sorry, man. This is cool stuff. So you'll be able to have, for example, a TuneFM tab like set up in your end.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really cool concept because, like I said before, regarding the also the source code part, where there may be parts that can be at discretion of the developer, can be like closed source, right? But then we will have this multi-sig mechanism, and I'm gonna try to explain it as simple as possible.
Okay.
So the way the version 2 is gonna work, where there will be like a developer building a smart dApp, right?
Okay.
And from there, like the smart app will then the users will interact with the smart app. They will not interact directly with the smart nodes like in the V1. So you have the developer smart app that interacts with the smart nodes with the subscription, paying HSUITE gas fees through NFT subscription, but leave that aside. And what happens is when you create a protocol, like let's say a DEXS or a Launchpad or whatever application, smart application, the base will be set up where in order for you as a user or as a developer or whatever to execute any activity, transactions, or anything, let's pretend it's a DEX. What happens is you will need the consensus, the approval of the smart nodes from one side, and the smart app / developer on the other side, let's say. And of course, like the user that there is also when it's executing a transaction and such. And what it means is this is what we call the multi-sig or multi-sig mechanism. And this is possible only thanks to HEDERA. Because what happens is you multi-sig or multi-sig works where you have, let's say, a wallet, for example, an account where on one side you have the smart nodes, a group of nodes. The other side you have the smart app, and you have a threshold to order to, which means that in order to do anything, you need smart nodes to sign, and the other side, the other group of smart apps or whatever to sign. So if there is smart nodes that act maliciously, malevolent, or it's the developer that is trying to do some weird stuff and tries to insert transactions that are not benevolent, the chances that both smart nodes and the smart app owner are malicious are reduced to a real minimum. So the chances of rug pull or any scam or anything like that, it's reduced to a minimum. And the way that the rules will be defined in order for the smart nodes and the smart app to agree into a consensus is by reading a JSON validator, like a message, basically by reading a validator message into the HEDERA consensus service, which will be public available for anybody to read. So let's say all the rules of an application will be written into HEDERA. They will be public available. Everybody can read the rules easily. And through those sets of rules, the consensus will be based by using HEDERA as layer 0.
Okay. Dang. So it will also be an anti-rug mechanism in the sense that the smart nodes can catch, like you're saying, that like if there's any potential threats or permissions or transactions that may that may threaten the liquidity or through the multi. Okay, when he says multi-sig, guys, he's talking about multi-signature, which means multiple devs need to give their consensus or their permission to count for a transactions to be performed. So the smart node can, it's sort of an AI in a sense, right?
Well, it's the way I would describe it. It's a very highly secure mechanism. But I mean, if you put it that way, like code, it's a programming languages. It's mostly, written English and numbers, and our brain works the same way. Like our bodies run. We're like one way we're robots. Like when somebody's dying and they're like cardiac arrest, what they do the how it's called, the electric defibrillator, because we're like pulsing electric pulse. So in one way we're also a robot, and all the code is based on the extraction of the human mind. But call it however you will. I mean, it's a surrogate of ourselves, what we're doing.
So I see why the HR Foundation wanted this code. I see, man. Hey, power to you guys for pushing through, and it's really admirable, you guys. I know you guys been handed a, kind of a crappy hand, and I admire projects that claw their way out.
I appreciate it.
and I really do, and I really have to give you guys, hats off, and that's what mainly one of the reasons why I bought H Suite, because I bought Tune FM because when I interviewed Andrew, he's the guy that will stay up until 4 or 5, 6 a.m. in the morning working on fixing problems for that DAP to work. So that's why I bought. And H Suite, the mere fact that you guys are pushing through with the with that disadvantageous situation you guys were given, that's what I like to see. I know that the leadership in this project will make it work. So that's why also I bought, and I bought a lot. So last question, and then we can go on random topics. So I learned something new right now. A lot of things. One of them, I wasn't even aware that your smart nodes can actually become a bridge between ecosystems outside of HEDERA. I was under the impression that smart nodes could only work inside HEDERA, and I thought potentially they could work from other ecosystems into HEDERA, but I didn't know that it could be a bridge between ecosystems outside of HEDERA. That's fantastic. So if I were to run my own node, let's say when will retail investors be able to run their own nodes? And two, are there nodes being run right now by either retail investors or enterprises currently?
So regarding the community running nodes, we expect to have the first version released second half of the year. There will be a time though the initial first release will be where some community members, based on the requirements, will be very likely first. There will be like a time where they'll be running testnet smart nodes, but they will still be rewarded in actual mainnet tokens, because of course, like, we're gonna need like a period of throughout testing and stress testing and making sure that the smart nodes work properly with updating the threshold, like if they need to kick a node out at some point, if they need to bring one in, because as much as testing that we can do by ourselves, there is always something that comes up like totally randomly, maybe by a guy that doesn't even know how to do something and just this finds a bug, like, and the best developer in the world couldn't even reproduce the issue sometimes, and so there will be like a smart node, the testnet running for an initial period, and then there will be the one that we were talking about with the Shiba Gold NFT period and 10 million H Suite for a maximum 100 nodes, and then it will be open to just the 10 million H Suite holders, and no more token get with the Shiba Gold NFT. But regarding other smart network, we have Sycom Berhad, which is a Malaysian company, IT and outsourcing company, who they're using a private smart node network from us, but run privately by them, for a decentralized identity application for Education Malaysia government services. So basically, the Malaysian government branch is going to use the smart node tech, a private smart node network for the Education Malaysia services.
And will that be an experiment, or will that be a legit thing that it'll just they'll be running it as like also? That sounds super cool. What, a Malaysian government entity is gonna
it's not an experiment. That's once it's done, it's done.
So
there
it's
will be
live.
an application based on smart nodes. Yeah.
So it'll be live, the actual thing.
Yeah, we're in the process of building it alongside our partner. But yeah.
Holy crap. Man, okay. I'm glad I asked all of this. Like that's pretty cool, man. You guys are really pushing it. Um, I really like what I'm hearing. I like a lot.
Me too.
This is pretty amazing. So, any other partners, institutions or financial institutions that are currently trying to get their hands on probably running one of their own nodes that you can disclose? If you can, I completely understand. Are there any others? I completely understand if you're not even allowed to allude to this. I completely understand. If you can.
Yeah, so actually, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we also partner with Banco, which is a crypto bank, broker, and financial institution, as well as a real estate vendor in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. They have a license for real estate as well. And they are using also our smart node technology for basically the whole backend application in order to do anything from real estate management as well as different staking products that they have in their own application live already, and they will soon be having also their own credit cards and banking features, which they will be ran through the smart nodes. So you have a full set of features be run through the smart nodes.
So, real estate apps and the credit card is going to be running on a smart node.
Yeah, all the banking logic that goes like to check for checks and balances through the Banco ecosystem will be run with the smart nodes. And we actually have a Twitter space coming up this Friday at 5 p.m. UTC with Banco. You might wanna join in and listen a little bit of
Yeah, I put my reminder on. I saw that, and I'm putting my reminder on, man. That I gotta watch that. Wow, man, that's I'm looking for that. Let me see, where is that announcement you guys made? There it is. Tune up this coming Friday with our Banqua partners, and then it's HSUITE Banqua, tokenizing real estate through the smart nodes. Yeah, my reminder is set, man. Whoa, this is all definitely really cool. I really don't. I have to process a lot of this. And I took some notes.
I understand.
I took some notes. Atomic transactions, smart dApps, and running real estate and credit card dApp on top of a smart node. What? And then the smart node can be also a bridge between ecosystems outside of HEDERA, which is huge. That's what I was actually going to ask you, but you already answered that question mentioning that, because I was going to ask you, how would you replace smart contracts of an ecosystem if they don't want to come to HBAR Suite? You can simply place that node in their ecosystems, basically. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, not exactly. So the way you could make it work, I can give you an example. Like, let's say you want to trade Ethereum. You want to trade Ethereum. However, ERC20, basically Ethereum blockchain, is very expensive to trade there. Every trade it costs like 20, 30, $50, depending on the network congestion. So what we could be doing is, wait a second. So there is HBAR Suite that runs on HEDERA, and if I port my Ethereum token into a wrapped version into HBAR Suite, where I can trade on a zero slippage DEX with fees that are 80 times cheaper than HEDERA smart contracts, and probably thousands and thousands of times cheaper than Ethereum, what they could be doing is lock the tokens on the Ethereum side, mint an Ethereum wrapped version token into HEDERA through the smart nodes, and do their trading, for example, on our DEX, then get their profits or whatever profits or losses, and then at any point in time they can burn the HTS wrapped version of Ethereum or whatever other wrapped token they got, and unlock it on the other side and go back to their chain of belonging without having spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for trading. But yeah, you must understand that if there is always need for, in this case, for bridging, even if you can use the smart node for like bridging the different blockchains, you still need smart contracts, at least for the locking part. Because Ethereum, for example, those blockchains natively run, like they're based on smart contract. But the smart nodes can be a decentralized bridge that makes sure that blockchains can talk to each other in a decentralized manner and secure.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a crazy question. So say, okay, can someone build a blockchain inside HSUITE? Or a smaller ecosystem inside HSUITE?
Without using HEDERA or like using HEDERA always.
Yeah.
Because we use HEDERA. HEDERA is basically our database. So what happens is if you don't want to use HEDERA, you need to create database inside smart nodes. And at the end of the day, like what they define as blockchain is just a decentralized database. So technically, yeah, you can just create your whole smart node layer 1 solution or fork HEDERA. There is so much that can be done, man. It's the thing that we miss the most is like time. I barely find time to go 3 times to the gym and to the basic things in life because I'm so into all the work that needs to be done. And but I love it. I'm not like complaining or anything.
Every time,
it's
bro, I ask you one question and it opens up another 30 questions because it seems like the only limit is your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, this is crazy. So this is insane. All right, I have to process. Okay, so you can basically build your own blockchain. Your smart node can be bridging other ecosystems. Smart node can run credit card dApps. Smart. There's gonna be smart dApps. Holy crap. Okay, I'll finish off the interview with this last question that a follower I wanted to ask. He says, can you please ask, for those projects who have already built using smart contracts, how expensive, complex would it be for them to integrate smart node technology and transition? This is from Epic Collection.
So it depends on first what type of blockchain they built the application on. Secondly, when they mean application, do they mean a full stack application where you have like a front end app, a backend server, and a smart contract? And if it's just a smart contract logic, or if it's a full stack app, like I said. And third, it depends on the complexity of what we're trying to build. If it's whether just a launchpad or a minting platform, or if it's like a zero slippage DEX or a perpetual DEX with like futures and options integrated. So it really depends. But as I said before, like with the Smart Nodes V2, we will make very accessible for web developers to build applications in a very unified manner, especially if they come from a JavaScript environment, and that should also help with cutting down maintenance and costs, generally speaking.
That's cool. So basically, yes, and if it's complex, you guys will simplify it or try to simplify it, understand it, and also yes.
Yeah, you can say that.
So, Epic Collection, there's the answer to your question. It's yes, and if it's complex, they will find a solution because Smart Nodes, that's what it does. It rocks and it finds solutions and yes to that.
Yeah, it will depend also on the developer skill, who you hire. So it depends from many different factors and like what you define as complex, because if you're like a regulated institutions, you also have to take into considerations like that you may be dealing with certain regulations that also require certain audits, or if depends what information you want public, you want private, and what you want to disclose. And yeah, like it's a very broad
Right. No, I get
very
it.
broad answer for a broad question.
Yeah.
I would need to have more details to answer more in detail.
Right. Okay. So say if I want to start a comic book, for example, and and I can tell people, hey, I have my own smart node. If you want my comic book, you have to come use my smart node. And would it be cool if I do that?
So if your comic book is minted into NFT, it's basically all public. So nobody needs to. You can just check it on chain.
Darn it.
Check your comic book on chain. So
I can't
yeah.
make it just for anyone that's on my smart node. You can only have access to the comic book if you're on my smart node. I can't do that. It'll if it's an NFT comic book.
There are certain things that can be done, like proof of authenticity and veridicity, but like it's like watching a movie or streaming it like pirately kind of thing. At least in this specific instance, But there is many other ones that can be done, in an encrypted and secure manner. And what I mean by that, you can encrypt certain information where like maybe only the owner of that information or the whitelisted person has access, but then like.
Got it.
Yeah, it can be done, but then like there is a part of good faith for anything that is like visual or audio can be like kind of recorded through, but it can be verified. I mean, you say like tamper proof through blockchain or Hashgraph and smart nodes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Topachi, for your time, and really
My
appreciate you coming out. Is it cool if we chat for like a minute or two after we close the interview? Thanks, brother. So there you guys have it. The famous Topachi, CEO and co-founder of HSUITE. Remember, HSUITE isn't a DEXS. It's a suite of platforms, which it took me a little bit to process that and understand that until studying it actually made more sense. So I invite everyone to visit their website, read their white paper, and try out their DEXS and their suite. It's a suite. That's why it's a suite, guys. It's not a DEXS. It's a suite with a DEXS. So with a suite with two DEXs actually, a multi-chain DEX and a regular DEX. So,
and also an NFT DEX.
NFT DEX,
by the
that's
way.
right. An NFT DEX.
Yep.
Holy crap. Okay. Really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man and you have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders right now and a lot of burdens, but I'm rooting for you, and I'm sure my followers are rooting for you as well. And take this thing worldwide, brother.
I really appreciate your words, and I will do it. We are doing it already.
And this is Safe Investor G, H for Sim Saucy Warrior, and everyone stay saucy.